Let me ask you something real. Have your legs felt weaker lately? Not painful, just less steady. You stand up from a chair, and for a second, your knees feel like they forgot what to do. It doesn't happen every time, but when it does, something deep inside you whispers, "Is this the beginning of the end?" If you're over 60 and your legs feel more tired, slower to recover, or just not as strong as they used to be, it is not your fault, and it is not just aging. I'm a doctor. I've been caring for older adults for over 30 years, and today I'm going to show you a hidden truth I've seen over and over again. It's not about your workouts. It's not about your weight. It's about what's sitting in your fruit bowl. Yes, fruit. There are 7 common fruits that many seniors eat every week thinking they're making a healthy choice. But these fruits are quietly breaking down your collagen, draining your muscle fuel, and accelerating leg weakness faster than you think. This is not fear, this is science, and I'll walk you through every single one. But before we go further, tell me something from the heart. What fruit do you eat most often these days? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'll personally reply and tell you if it's helping or silently hurting your legs. And if this message already feels like it's hitting close to home, hit subscribe. We're building a space here at Seniors at Heart where health, dignity, and independence are not negotiable, and no one's too old to fight for a strong body again. Now, take a breath. This may surprise you. Let's begin. Why your legs are getting weaker. And it's not just age. Most seniors think I'm slower now because I'm old. But here's the truth. I've treated thousands of older adults over the last 30 years, and I've seen 70-year-olds with legs stronger than some people in their 40s. So, no age alone is not the reason your muscles are fading. The real culprit, it's something called sarcopenia, and it's more common, more dangerous, and more silent than most people realize. Sarcopenia is the gradual loss of muscle mass, power, and function as we age. But it doesn't just happen. It's triggered by inflammation, insulin resistance, and poor nutrient absorption. And yes, your diet plays a massive role in all 3. Let me explain. As we get older, our ability to process sugar becomes weaker. The pancreas slows down. Cells become resistant to insulin. Blood sugar stays higher for longer, and that creates a toxic internal environment. What does that mean for your muscles? It means the fuel can't get in. The power stations in your cells, called mitochondria, start to shut down. Your body can't repair or grow muscle like it used to. And the first place this breakdown shows up, your legs. Now think about this. What's the one thing many seniors are told to eat more of for health fruit? Fruit is natural, it's sweet. It feels safe. But here's the problem. The modern fruit we buy in stores today is not the same as what we grew up with. It's been bred for sweetness, shelf life, and size. That means higher fructose, lower fiber, and fewer antioxidants. Let me give you a shocking number. According to the USDA, the average American now consumes more than 100 pounds of added sugar per year, and a significant chunk of that comes from fruit juice, dried fruit, and ultra-sweet fruits like bananas and mangoes. Even when it's natural, sugar is still sugar, and when you flood an older body with high fructose fruits, especially without protein or fiber to buffer it, you're throwing fuel on the fire of inflammation. What happens next? Collagen breaks down in your joints. Mitochondria lose function, and your legs start feeling tired, wobbly, or even numb. You might notice it when climbing stairs, or standing up from the couch, or walking across the parking lot and feeling like your legs are made of lead. I've seen this in my own clinic. A patient named Henry, 66 years old, retired truck driver, told me he was doing everything right. He walked every day, watched his calories, and avoided junk food. But every morning, he drank 2 glasses of 100% natural orange juice. By mid-morning, he felt exhausted and thought it was just aging. Once we removed the juice and added protein and fiber in his breakfast, his energy came back within weeks. That's the power of food. Now, I'm not saying all fruit is bad, but not all fruit is created equal. And that's why in the next part of this video, We're going to walk through 7 specific fruits that may be stealing your strength without you even realizing it. Some of them spike your insulin, others overload your liver, some destroy the collagen in your knees. And one of them has been linked in multiple studies to over 30% faster muscle loss in people over 65. But for now, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt your legs get shakier or slower after eating something sweet? Leave a comment below. You're not alone, and your experience could help someone else feel seen and supported. This journey is not about fear. It's about taking your power back, because aging should never mean giving up strength. It means getting smarter, choosing wiser, and fighting for your independence step by step. Fruit number 1, watermelon, a sweet summer danger. Let's talk about watermelon. It's fresh, it's colorful, and on a hot day, it feels like the perfect treat. But if you're over 60, this innocent-looking fruit might be quietly stealing strength from your legs one bite at a time. Here's why. Watermelon has a glycemic index of 80. That's higher than white bread. And when you eat it, your blood sugar spikes fast. The pancreas releases insulin to bring it down, but for older adults, that insulin response is often delayed and inefficient. What follows? A sugar crash. Your blood glucose plummets, and your muscles are left underfueled, shaky, and tired. But it's not just about sugar levels. Watermelon is made up of over 90% water, and while hydration sounds good, this also means it lacks key nutrients your aging muscles desperately need. We're talking about magnesium, calcium, and protein, the core ingredients that help muscle fibers contract, recover, and stay strong. Without them, your legs struggle to maintain stability and power. Worse yet, watermelon is packed with fructose, a type of sugar that your muscles cannot use directly. It must first be processed by the liver. And here's the danger. After 60, many Americans, especially those with prediabetes or excess belly fat, begin developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. According to the Cleveland Clinic, over 1 in 3 older adults in the U.S. may already have some form of liver fat accumulation, often without symptoms. When the liver becomes overburdened, fructose metabolism slows dramatically. The result: more inflammation, more insulin resistance, less available energy for your muscles. And that means every time you indulge in a few slices of watermelon, thinking it's healthy, you may actually be disrupting your body's energy delivery system. But let's go deeper. A 2019 study published in the journal Nutrients followed more than 1,000 seniors over the age of 65. They found a clear association between high fructose fruit intake, especially from low nutrient density fruits like watermelon, and lower walking speed and reduced grip strength. Participants who consumed the most fructose-rich fruits had significantly slower leg performance, even after adjusting for exercise and protein intake. That's not just academic. That's your independence on the line. And remember, your legs are the largest muscle group in your body. When they weaken, your entire metabolic engine slows down. You burn fewer calories. You lose balance more easily. You fall harder and recover slower. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I have to give up watermelon forever? Not necessarily, but you must be strategic, because this is not about restriction, it's about optimization. Here's what I recommend. Never eat watermelon on an empty stomach. Always pair it with a healthy fat or protein, like a handful of raw nuts, a scoop of plain Greek yogurt, or a slice of avocado. This helps slow the absorption of sugar and gives your muscles the steady fuel they need. Keep your portions small. A few cubes is a treat, a whole bowl. That's a blood sugar roller coaster. And most importantly, don't eat watermelon daily. Save it for special occasions. Focus your everyday fruit intake on options that are lower in sugar and higher in fiber, like berries, apples with skin, or kiwi. Watermelon is not evil, but it is mismatched for the aging metabolism. Your body has changed, your habits must follow. And here's the good news. Every better choice you make today supports your legs tomorrow, one bite at a time. One step at a time. You're not just surviving, you're rebuilding strength, reclaiming control, and learning how to live long, live strong. Let's move on to the next fruit, a sweet drink that wears a healthy halo, but may be flooding your muscles with sugar faster than you can handle. Fruit number 2, fruit juice, the sweet trap in disguise. Let's talk about a habit that hides behind the word natural. Fruit juice. If you're over 60 and still starting your day with a glass of orange juice, apple juice, or even cold-pressed blends, your legs could be paying the price. The label might say no sugar added, but that's marketing. Juice, by nature, is sugar, and worse, it's sugar without fiber. Here's the core issue. When you juice a fruit, you remove everything that slows sugar down, the pulp, the skin, the fiber. You're left with liquid glucose and fructose that rush into your bloodstream in minutes. No buffer, no breaks, just a flood. For younger bodies, this might cause a quick sugar high, but for older adults, it's a different story. The aging pancreas doesn't release insulin as quickly. The liver is slower at processing fructose, and your muscle cells have become insulin resistant. They don't absorb energy efficiently anymore. What happens next? You crash, your legs feel heavy, your body stores the excess sugar as fat, usually around the belly, and inflammation skyrockets. Let's be clear, fruit juice is not fruit. It's sugar water with a vitamin label, and the impact on leg strength is not a theory. It's been measured clearly and repeatedly. A 2021 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism followed adults over 65 who drank fruit juice regularly. They were compared to seniors who ate whole fruit instead. The results, 34%. Higher fasting blood sugar, 22% higher insulin resistance, and most shockingly, a 21% faster rate of leg muscle loss. Let that sink in. Drinking juice, yes. Even organic or fresh-pressed juice was linked to muscle atrophy, poor walking speed, and reduced leg stability. Why? Because your muscles are fuel-dependent. They rely on steady glucose and insulin signals to stay nourished and responsive. When you overload the system, the result is chaos. Your legs become weaker, your joints ache, your balance starts to wobble, and all of it feels like just getting older. But it's not age, it's your breakfast. Here's something else most people forget. Liquid sugar doesn't trigger satiety. You can drink the sugar of 4 or 5 oranges in one glass and still feel hungry. That's dangerous. Because what happens next? You eat more. Your body stores the sugar as visceral fat, deep belly fat, and that fat pumps out inflammatory cytokines that attack the very muscle fibers, keeping your legs stable. This is not just a blood sugar issue, it's a structural issue. It affects your metabolism, your gait, and your independence. Now some people say, but it's better than soda. Right, wrong. Soda and fruit juice both hit your bloodstream the same way, fast and hard. At least soda doesn't pretend to be healthy. So, what should you do? Here's your doctor's advice. Stop drinking fruit juice? Yes, stop completely. If you miss the flavor, infuse your water with a few slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint. You'll get freshness, hydration, and satisfaction without the sugar spike. And if you truly want fruit, eat the whole fruit, preferably with the peel on, like apples or pears. And always pair it with protein or healthy fat, a few almonds, chia seeds, a spoon of Greek yogurt. This stabilizes your blood sugar, feeds your muscles, and keep your legs moving strong and steady. The bottom line. Fruit juice wears a health halo. But for older adults, it's one of the most dangerous daily habits undermining leg strength. You're not drinking nutrients, you're drinking inflammation. So, ask yourself right now, what's in your morning glass? If it's juice, it may be time to change, not just for your blood sugar, but for your legs, your steps, your life. Because after 60, every ounce of strength counts. Fruit number 3. Canned fruit in syrup, the silent saboteur in your pantry. Now we need to talk about a convenient snack that might be living in your cabinet, soft, sweet, and shockingly dangerous. I'm talking about canned fruit in syrup. It's marketed as light. It looks safe. And for seniors with weak teeth, it feels like an easy choice. But here's the truth. These innocent-looking little cups might be devastating your joints, muscles, and balance more than you realize. Let me break it down. When fruit is canned in syrup, it goes through a brutal transformation. First, the fruit is peeled and often cooked at high temperatures, which destroys key vitamins like vitamin C, folate, and potassium. These nutrients are essential for muscle recovery, nerve coordination, and joint lubrication. Next, the fruit is soaked in syrup, a thick liquid made of high fructose corn, syrup HFCS, or other refined sugars. What's left inside that can not real fruit, just sugar-soaked pulp with barely any fiber. The result, a rapid spike in blood sugar, an insulin surge, and shortly after, a crash that drains your energy and weakens your muscles. And it doesn't stop there. One of the most dangerous effects of this sugary overload is collagen breakdown, fructose, especially when highly concentrated like in syrup, triggers glycation, a chemical process where sugars attach to proteins in your body and damage them. This process creates advanced glycation, end products, ages compounds that stiffen joints, inflame connective tissue, and accelerate muscle loss in the legs, hips, and lower back. And this isn't just theory. A 2020 study in the journal Nutrients tracked older adults who consumed canned fruits more than twice per week. Those individuals had a 38% higher risk of mobility limitation, meaning they couldn't walk as far, rise from a chair without effort, or maintain balance over time. Think about that. Eating canned peaches and syrup just twice a week could raise your fall risk by nearly 40%. Why? Because ages damage the mitochondria, the powerhouses inside your muscle cells. And once those mitochondria start to fail, your legs can't recover after walking, standing, or even a minor trip. And here's another layer of the problem. Canned fruits often come with chemical additives like sodium benzoate or artificial preservatives. These compounds irritate the digestive system, disrupt gut bacteria, and trigger systemic inflammation, another silent killer of muscle strength. Add it all up, and here's what you get: weak, aching legs, inflamed joints, slower reflexes, higher fall risk, and a body that feels old even if your mind is still sharp. So, what can you do? Step 1. Read the label. If it says in syrup, put it back on the shelf. That is not a treat. That is a trap. Step 2. Choose canned in water or no added sugar options, and drain the liquid before eating. Step 3. When possible, switch to fresh or frozen fruit with no sweeteners added. Frozen berries, for example, are high in antioxidants, low in sugar, and great for muscle health. And remember, if your goal is to live long, live strong, then every bite matters. Canned syrup fruit is not neutral. It is negatively active in your body. It feeds the wrong bacteria. It spikes the wrong hormones. It builds the wrong kind of weight. And after 60, those small shifts add up fast. So the next time you reach for a quick snack, don't settle for sweetness that steals your strength. Choose power, choose purpose, and walk away from what's quietly holding your body back. Because independence begins with strong legs, and strong legs begin with smarter choices. Let's move to the next: fruit small, chewy, and dangerously deceptive. Yes, I'm talking about raisins. Fruit number 4. Raisins, small but mighty dangerous. Let's take a closer look at something tiny, chewy, and often praised as healthy. Raisins. They're everywhere. In breakfast cereals, in energy mixes, in that oatmeal you eat every morning. But if you're over 60, you need to understand the hidden danger packed into these little dried fruits. Let's start with the basics. Raisins are grapes with all the water removed. And when you remove the water, you concentrate the sugar dramatically. Just a small handful of raisins contains over 25 grams of sugar, most of it in the form of fructose and glucose. That's more sugar than a scoop of ice cream. But here's the problem. Unlike grapes, raisins contain almost no water and barely any fiber. That means the sugar is absorbed almost instantly, spiking blood glucose levels fast and triggering a roller coaster of insulin and energy crashes. And when you're older, that crash hits harder. The body takes longer to recover, and your legs are the first to feel it. But it goes deeper. Raisins are loaded with something called advanced glycation end products AGEs. These compounds form when sugars bind to proteins in your body, especially collagen, the structural glue that keeps your muscles, joints, and tendons strong and flexible. AGEs do three things. They stiffen your joints, they inflame your tendons, and they weaken the muscle fibers you rely on to stay upright. Think about that. Every time you sprinkle raisins on your cereal, you could be tightening the very tissues you need to walk. And the science is clear. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that older adults with high post-meal blood sugar spikes had significantly lower leg strength, reduced walking speed, and poorer balance control even if their weight and calories were considered healthy. That means this isn't just about weight gain. It's about energy delivery, muscle function, and fall prevention. And there's more. Most store-bought raisins are processed with vegetable oils, especially cottonseed oil or soybean oil, to prevent sticking. These oils are often high in omega-6 fats, which promote inflammation throughout the body, especially in joints and connective tissue. And if that wasn't enough, many raisins also contain sulfites, chemical preservatives used to maintain color and shelf life. For older adults with sensitive digestive systems or mild autoimmune issues, sulfites can trigger gut irritation, bloating, fatigue, nerve inflammation, all of which affect how stable and energized you feel when walking or standing. Let's recap: high sugar, no fiber, full of AGEs, mixed with inflammatory oils and chemicals, all packed into a fruit that's still labeled natural. Now, I'm not saying you can never touch a raisin again, but you must be mindful. Here's what I recommend. If you're craving something sweet and chewy, don't go straight to raisins. Instead, try sliced apple with almond butter, or frozen blueberries or blackberries, which offer fiber, antioxidants, and a slower sugar release. And if you absolutely want raisins in your trail mix or baked goods, use smaller amounts and pair them with protein, like raw walnuts or sunflower seeds. But never eat raisins alone. Never eat them on an empty stomach, and never treat them like a guilt-free snack. Because while they may be small, the damage they do adds up fast, especially after 60. One handful here, one breakfast bowl there. And suddenly, your knees ache, your legs tire faster, and your balance feels off. You might think it's arthritis or aging. But sometimes it's raisins. Your strength deserves better. And now you know how to choose better. In the next section, we head to the tropics where a golden fruit may be stealing your mobility one slice at a time. Let's talk about pineapple, fruit number 5. Pineapple, the tropical trap that drains your strength. It's golden, it's juicy, it smells like summer. But for seniors over 60, pineapple may not be the sweet friend you think it is. In fact, it could be quietly damaging your liver, inflaming your joints, and exhausting your legs from the inside out. Let's get to science. Pineapple is one of the fruits with the highest fructose content per serving. 1 cup of fresh pineapple contains over 16 grams of sugar, mostly from fructose. Fructose is not metabolized like other sugars. It doesn't go directly into your bloodstream to fuel your muscles. Instead, it must pass through the liver, where it's converted into usable energy, or, more often, stored as fat. And that's the first warning. According to Harvard Medical School, over 60% of adults over 60 show signs of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, even if they've never touched alcohol. That means the liver is already under strain and dumping more fructose into that system, especially through sweet tropical fruits like pineapple, can overload your liver, reduce energy output, and trigger systemic inflammation. Now, here's where it affects your legs. When your liver becomes fatty and inflamed, it stops producing clean, efficient energy for your body, your mitochondria. The energy factories inside your muscle cells start shutting down, and the first muscle group to suffer your legs. Studies published in Diabetes Care found that seniors with high fructose diets had a 2.5 times higher risk of lower body frailty. That includes slower walking speed, poor endurance, and increased reliance on walkers or assistants. Why? Because your muscles are starving, not for food, but for energy. And pineapple, as sweet and bright as it tastes, delivers a sugar load your body can't handle without proper balance. Even more concerning, this tropical fruit has a glycemic index near 60. That's considered medium high and enough to trigger blood sugar spikes in older adults. Combine that with the natural acids in pineapple, which can irritate sensitive stomachs and disrupt digestion. And you've got a fruit that looks healthy, but may worsen fatigue, gut discomfort, and muscle inflammation. Let's not forget the form factor. Most people don't eat fresh pineapple in small slices. They eat it canned, blended in smoothies, or added to desserts. And those versions are even worse stripped of fiber, packed with syrup, and even higher in sugar per bite. But wait, what about bromelain? Yes, pineapple contains bromelain, an enzyme often praised for its anti-inflammatory properties. But the amount needed for clinical benefit is much higher than what you get in a few slices of fruit. And when you weigh that against the sugar content and liver load, the risks outweigh the benefits. Now, should you give up pineapple forever? Not necessarily. But here's how to be smart. Avoid canned pineapple. Avoid pineapple juice. If you eat fresh pineapple, keep the portion under half a cup. Always pair it with protein or healthy fat like chia seeds or unsweetened yogurt. Never eat it first thing in the morning or alone. Even better, switch to papaya. Papaya is lower in fructose, higher in fiber, and still offers digestive benefits without the same metabolic burden. It also contains papain, another enzyme that supports digestion and reduces inflammation with less sugar. The key takeaway: pineapple is not evil, but it is mismatched for aging metabolism. After 60, your muscles, liver, and mitochondria require stability, not sugar surges. So, if you're feeling more tired after meals, slower on your feet, or needing longer to recover after activity, look at the fruit on your plate. Because sometimes the sweetest foods are secretly the most draining. And now you know. Up next, let's look at mango. Another tropical favorite that turns into a sugar bomb when overripe. Fruit number 6. Mango, the sugar bomb in a royal disguise. Mango, the king of fruits, soft, fragrant, golden, and dangerously deceptive. If you're over 60, especially if you struggle with leg fatigue, joint stiffness, or balance issues, this sweet tropical fruit might be quietly sabotaging your strength. Let's get straight to it. A single cup of ripe mango contains over 45 grams of sugar, most of it from fructose. That's more sugar than a can of soda. Let me say that again, more sugar than a can of soda. And unlike younger bodies that can burn off sugar or shuttle it into muscle, aging bodies struggle to respond. Why? Because insulin response slows down. Muscle cells become insulin resistant, and excess glucose lingers in the blood, triggering glycation. Glycation is the process where sugar binds to proteins in the body, and the main target, collagen, the key protein in your joints, tendons, and muscles. When collagen gets glycated, it becomes stiff, brittle, and prone to breakdown. This isn't just about skin aging. This is about joint flexibility, muscle coordination, and your ability to stand, walk, and balance. Now, combine that with the fact that most mangoes are eaten overripe soft, syrupy, extra sweet. That's when the fructose content skyrockets, the fiber content drops, and the blood sugar spike becomes immediate. Even worse, mango is often consumed alone, as a snack or dessert without protein, fiber, or fat to slow absorption. So, you get a rapid sugar flood, a strong insulin response, followed by a crash, and inflammation that spreads to your muscles and joints. But don't take my word for it. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Endocrinology found that older adults who regularly consumed high fructose fruits like overripe mango experienced a 32% drop in leg muscle density within a few weeks, not years weeks. That muscle loss directly translated into slower walking speed. Reduced endurance. and more frequent instability while standing. That's not just frustrating, that's dangerous, because once your legs lose muscle density, your entire posture system weakens. Your knees carry more strain, your hips lose flexibility, your risk of falls skyrockets. And remember, one bad fall can change everything. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to empower you. And the truth is, mango isn't always the enemy. The problem is timing and quantity. Here's how to be smart. Never eat overripe mango. Those mushy, overly sweet slices are sugar bombs. Choose just ripe, firm mango in small amounts. Always eat it with a stabilizer like Greek yogurt, ground flaxseed, or a few almonds. Never eat mango alone or on an empty stomach. If you feel that your legs are taking longer to recover after walking, if you're noticing more swelling, tightness, or fatigue, mango might be playing a bigger role than you think. You can still enjoy tropical flavors, but after 60, your food must be functional, not just flavorful. And your muscles, they deserve better than a sugar trap disguised as a golden gift. So, take control, know what's on your plate, know how it affects your legs. Because aging doesn't take away your power. It hands it back to you if you're ready to make better choices. Let's move to the final fruit common, affordable, and possibly the most misleading of them all. Yes, we're talking about bananas. Fruit number 7. Banana, misunderstood, overrated, and silently draining your strength. Let's end with the fruit most seniors trust. The one everyone says is great for energy. The one most people eat without a second thought. Bananas. They're cheap, they're soft, they're everywhere from breakfast plates to hospital trays. But here's the problem. Bananas are not neutral, and especially after 60, they may be doing more harm than good, especially to your legs. Let's talk sugar. One ripe banana contains around 14 grams of sugar, mostly glucose and fructose. That's nearly the same sugar load as a mini candy bar. And once the banana starts to spot and brown, that sugar becomes even more concentrated and fast-acting. Now, combine that with a key problem. Bananas are low in fiber, especially when they're overripe. So the sugar hits your bloodstream fast, causing a rapid blood glucose spike, followed by an insulin surge, then a crash. For older adults, that crash can cause leg fatigue, poor energy regulation, weakness during walking or climbing stairs. Now, here's the kicker. Bananas have a high glycemic load. That means even a moderate serving has a big impact on blood sugar levels. A 2019 study published in Frontiers in Endocrinology examined seniors with diets high in glycemic load. They found a direct link to weaker quadriceps, slower gait, and decreased balance even among those with otherwise healthy diets. That's not just a sugar story. That's a muscle performance problem. And let's debunk a myth while we're here. You've probably heard bananas are great for potassium. True, bananas do contain potassium. But here's what no one tells you. Too much potassium in seniors, especially those with reduced kidney function, can lead to muscle cramps. Irregular heartbeat. Slowed movement. According to the National Kidney Foundation, nearly 50% of adults over 70 have some level of kidney decline, often undiagnosed. So, for many seniors, high potassium foods like bananas can do more harm than help, especially when eaten daily. And there's more. Bananas lack essential amino acids and magnesium, 2 nutrients your muscles need for proper contraction, coordination, and strength. So, what's the alternative? You don't need to quit bananas forever, but you need to change how you eat them. Here's what I recommend. Avoid overripe, mushy bananas. Choose just ripe or green bananas. They contain resistant starch, which digests slower and supports gut health. Never eat bananas alone. Always pair with healthy fat or protein like peanut butter, Greek yogurt, or a few walnuts. Limit bananas to once or twice per week, not every day. And if you're already dealing with leg pain, balance problems, muscle weakness, then bananas may not be the safe snack you think they are. The truth, bananas are overhyped, and for older adults, they are often mismatched for the metabolic reality of aging. They may taste comforting, but comfort is not always strength. And after 60, Strength is everything. So ask yourself honestly, do you feel more energized or more tired after eating bananas? Your body knows. It speaks if you learn how to listen. Now that we've uncovered the truth about these 7 fruits, let's wrap up with a final message about how to reclaim your leg strength one smart choice at a time. Reclaim your legs one bite at a time. Now you know the truth. 7 fruits that looked so sweet, so harmless, may have been silently weakening your legs, draining your strength, your balance, your independence. Not because fruit is bad, but because your body has changed, and what once gave you energy might now leave you tired, inflamed, and at greater risk of falling. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. You are not stuck with fatigue, stiffness, or weakness, because every day, every bite, every small choice can either build you up or break you down. The problem is not the fruit. The problem is blind trust in healthy labels. It's eating the wrong things, at the wrong time, in the wrong way without knowing how they affect your aging body. But now you do know. You've taken the first step. You've learned what most people your age still haven't. And that knowledge, that's your strength. That's your medicine. That's your power. Because let me tell you something, from 30 years of experience, the legs are the first to go when we stop paying attention. But they're also the first to bounce back when we make the right changes. So, what now? Start by reviewing your plate. Look at your breakfast. Rethink that glass of juice. Reconsider that banana. And instead, build your meals around foods that fuel your mitochondria, support your joints, stabilize your blood sugar, and protect your muscles. Your legs carry your life, and they deserve to feel alive. If this message spoke to you, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me, which fruit surprised you the most? Which one will you cut back on starting today? Or which one you've already been suspicious of? And don't forget, you're not alone. This community here at Seniors at Heart is built for you, for people who believe that aging is not the end. It's just a smarter, stronger beginning. So, subscribe, hit that bell. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who still thinks fruit is always good, because it's time we take our health back into our hands. And if you want to know what to eat instead, foods that strengthen your heart, clear your joints, and rebuild muscle after 60, well, in the next video, I'll share 7 nighttime foods that help your legs recover while you sleep. Foods that fight inflammation, restore muscle, and reduce overnight leg cramps naturally. So, stay with us. Keep learning, keep walking forward. Because after 60, we don't just want to live longer. We want to live stronger. And it starts with the next bite.